It was 11:17 p.m. when a local pizza place called 911. Not because of a robbery, not because of a break-in, but because a strange man was parked across the street, engine running, windows rolled up, for over an hour. 5 minutes later, police were on the scene. The car, empty. But on the passenger seat, still warm, was a cell phone. By 1:12 a.m., the police had a suspect. Not because he left an ID, not because anyone saw him, but because the phone told a story. It told them where he walked, who he texted, what tower he pinged, when he stopped moving. It even told them where he threw the gloves. And just like that, without a single witness, a single confession, or a single moment of video footage, they had built an airtight timeline. Welcome to the era of cell phone forensics. This isn't CSI, this isn't hacking. This is legal, routine, and happening every day. Even right now, as you watch this video. Today we break down how police use your cell phone data to track suspects, recreate crimes, and sometimes make huge mistakes. We'll walk you through real cases. We'll show you what cops can really do, and we'll explain it simply, without the tech fluff. Because this isn't science fiction. It's already law enforcement's most powerful weapon. And what you don't know could already be building a case. Let's get one thing straight. Your phone is not just a phone. It's a location tracker. It's a surveillance device. And even when it's off, it's telling on you. Here's the deal. Every time you make a call, send a text, or open an app, your phone reaches out to a cell tower. That tower logs the connection. What time, how strong the signal was, and where you were. This is called CSLI, Cell Site Location Information. And police, they love CSLI because it tells them where you were, not with GPS precision, but close enough to put you in the neighborhood, or on the same block, or sometimes right next to the crime scene. In 2018, a landmark U.S. Supreme Court case, Carpenter v. United States, changed everything. Before that, police could grab these tower logs without a warrant. After Carpenter, they need one, most of the time. But that doesn't stop them from asking for it, and getting it. CSLI is just the start. If you've ever used Google Maps, Uber, Instagram, then there's also GPS data. And if you connect to Wi-Fi, especially public hotspots, you leave digital fingerprints police can follow. But here's the kicker. Police don't even need your phone to be in their hands. They can ask phone companies, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, for the logs. They can request tower dumps, a massive download of every phone connected to a specific tower at a specific time. And if it's a major crime, they'll cast a wide net. Anyone near the scene gets caught in the data dragnet. And then there's the controversial stuff. Stingrays, fake cell towers that trick your phone into connecting. Geo-fencing warrants, where Google hands over all phones in a given area. Real-time tracking, where they watch your pings live, second by second. Now, is this always legal? Not exactly. That's where the court battles begin. Some judges say this violates privacy. Others say, if you gave the data to a third party, it's fair game. But while they argue in courtrooms, police are solving crimes, sometimes with stunning accuracy. From murder suspects fleeing cross-country, to robbery getaways caught through GPS breadcrumb trails, to cold cases cracked because an old phone ping was finally decrypted. Cell phone data is the new fingerprint. It doesn't lie. It doesn't forget. And unless you know how to shut it off, it never stops recording. Here's why this video matters. You deserve to know how this works, because you're already part of it. Your phone doesn't just connect you to the world. It connects the world to you. And in some cases, that's all it takes to turn you from a bystander to a suspect. So you might be wondering, how exactly do police use phones to catch criminals? Let's break it down. No tech degree needed. Because the truth. These tools are already in your pocket. You just didn't know how loudly they speak. 1. CSLI, cell site, location information. Every phone call, text, or data usage routes through the nearest cell tower. Your phone pings that tower. The tower logs the time and connection strength. Do that enough times, and cops can reconstruct a movement trail. Here's how it works. You leave your house at 9 a.m., ping. You stop for gas at 9:12, ping. You arrive at a location near the crime scene at 9:33, ping. You return home at 10:15. Final ping. It's not GPS level precise, but if the coverage area is small, or if you switch towers, law enforcement can triangulate your general location within a few hundred meters, sometimes even closer. This was used in the 2011 Larry Swearingen case, Texas. He said he was nowhere near the victim, but his phone, ping said otherwise. Boom, timeline blown apart. 2. GPS data, your digital footprints. If CSLI is the blurry outline, GPS is the sharp, high-def trail. Apps like Google Maps, Uber, Apple Health, they store exact latitude and longitude coordinates, stored on your phone, uploaded to cloud servers. Law enforcement can request this info via warrant. And the timestamps, they're accurate to the second. Case in point, in 2020, detectives in Florida tracked a murder suspect's route using Google location history. It placed him at the scene at the time of the crime with meter-level accuracy. He said, "I was never there." Google said, "You walked into the alley at 9:14 p.m. That's when he stopped talking. 3. Tower dumps. Everyone gets scooped. Let's say a robbery happened at 2:30 p.m. There are no suspects, no video footage, no leads. Police can request a tower dump, a list of every single phone connected to a specific tower during a window of time. You could be in that list, just walking your dog. Now, law enforcement has hundreds or thousands of numbers. From there, they filter whose phones entered the area just before the crime, who left right after, any devices not usually in that location. That's how they narrowed down suspects in the 2013 armed robbery of a T-Mobile store in Michigan. The suspect thought he was anonymous. The tower dump said otherwise. 4th, geo-fencing warrants, location-based dragnet. Here's where things get controversial. Police can ask companies like Google for all users whose phones were within a geographic radius of a crime scene during a specific time. Think about that. All users, innocent people, witnesses, suspects. It's called a geo-fence warrant. Case example, in 2019, Jorge Molina was arrested for a Phoenix shooting. Why? His phone was picked up inside the geo-fence. Turns out, he had lent the phone to a friend. He was innocent, but he still sat in jail for 6 days. So yes, this tool is powerful, but it's not perfect. 5. Stingrays, the fake towers. Also known as IMSI catchers. A Stingray is a portable device that pretends to be a cell tower. It tricks nearby phones into connecting, just like they would with Verizon or AT&T. When connected, police can grab metadata, which phone numbers are nearby, signal strength to track movement, possibly even call contents, depending on the software. But Stingrays are hush-hush. Police rarely admit using them. Why? Because they sweep up everyone's data, not just the suspects. They've been deployed in drug busts, terrorism cases, and more. In 2017, privacy watchdogs revealed that Stingrays were used in over 24 U.S. cities without warrants. 6. Cloud access and messaging apps. Even if you delete a message, it may still live on the cloud. iMessages, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. If synced, authorities can get chat history, photos, videos, even voice memos. All they need is a warrant served to the platform. Apple resists unlocking phones. But if your iCloud is open, they don't need the phone. They just ask Apple. In the FBI v. Apple case, authorities sought access to the phone of the San Bernardino shooter. Apple said no, but they still found a workaround, because where there's a phone, there's always a trail. 7. Behavioral patterns, the timeline game. Phone data tells a story, and police are reading it like a book. They'll track how long you stayed in one place, when you went offline, whether your phone was intentionally shut off. If you turned off location services right before a crime, they're watching for behavioral anomalies, things that don't fit your daily rhythm. It's how detectives broke the 2015 Missy Bevers case. The suspect's phone went dark during a narrow window, then came back online, near the victim's home. That silence was deafening. Your phone is your second brain. It knows when you wake up, where you go, who you talk to. And when things go wrong, Law enforcement turns that brain inside out. They're not just reading your texts, they're reading your habits. Now that you know the tools, let me show you how they've actually changed cases. Sometimes they cracked the truth wide open. Other times, they made things even messier. Case 1. The jogger who never came back. The murder of Molly Tibbetts, 2018. Molly was a 20-year-old college student in Iowa. She went for a jog. She never returned. Days passed. Her town searched, desperate for answers. But it wasn't a witness or a security camera that broke the case. It was a cell phone. Investigators pulled location data from her phone and a Fitbit. That gave them her running route. They cross-checked it with security cameras. And then, they spotted a Chevy Malibu driving slowly, again and again. The car belonged to Christian Bahena Rivera. His phone placed him in the same area Molly disappeared. He eventually confessed. Without her phone's digital trail, Molly would have just vanished into the cornfields. Case 2. The Uber trail of a killer. Samantha Josephson, 2019. Samantha, 21, called an Uber after a night out in Columbia, South Carolina. She got into a black car, but it wasn't her Uber. She was later found murdered. The killer, Nathaniel Rowland, left clues behind. But what clinched the case? GPS and app data. Uber confirmed she never connected with their driver. Nathaniel's phone history showed overlapping locations. The car had child locks on. Samantha's blood was found in the trunk. Her phone records revealed her last location. Rowland's cell data revealed his. The overlap sealed it. Case 3. The wrong guy. Jorge Molina, 2019. Phoenix police used a geo-fence warrant to investigate a fatal shooting. One phone was in the area, Jorge Molina's. Police arrested him. He spent a week in jail. But here's the twist. Jorge wasn't the shooter. He had lent his phone to someone else. And because of that, he got swept up. The data wasn't wrong, but it didn't tell the full story. This case became a major privacy and due process warning about over-relying on geo-fence dragnets. Case 4. The Snapchat killer. Delphi murders, 2017 to 2022. Abigail Williams and Liberty German were found murdered in Indiana. Libby had taken a Snapchat video of the suspect. For years, police had little to go on, but phone records and app data played a major role. Cell data showed when they were last alive. Snapchat metadata confirmed location. The video gave police a voice clip and visual profile. After 5 years, they arrested Richard Allen, a local man. His device records were used to match patterns. Case 5. Capitol riot cell data, 2021. The January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol wasn't solved through just video. It was phone location data that proved many were inside restricted areas. Tower pings, GPS data, app history, cloud backups, all used to identify and arrest over 1,000 individuals. The cell data built timelines, identities, and intent. Some tried deleting data. It didn't work. So you see, your phone is more than just a communication device. In the eyes of the law, it's a digital diary. And if you're part of a crime, as a suspect or a witness, it may be the loudest voice in the room. Just because police can use cell phone data to find suspects, doesn't mean they always get it right. Let's break down the darker side of this powerful technology, because while cell phone data has solved murders, kidnappings, and assaults, it's also ruined lives when misused or misunderstood. 1. Tower pings aren't GPS. First, cell tower data isn't exact. Unlike GPS, which pinpoints your location within a few feet, a cell tower ping just tells authorities that your phone connected to a nearby tower. But here's the problem. In dense cities, towers overlap. That means your phone might ping a tower across town, even if you're closer to another one. Case in point. In 2016, a man in New York was arrested for armed robbery because his phone pinged near the scene. But later, surveillance footage proved he was shopping for groceries miles away. The tower just happened to cover both areas. That's how poor interpretation can destroy alibis. 2. Geofencing warrants can catch the wrong people. Geofencing sounds smart. Police create a virtual fence around a crime scene and pull data from every device that entered that area during a specific time. But this casts a very wide net. In Arizona, a man named Jorge Molina was arrested for murder based on a geo-fence search. His phone had been near the scene, but the car used in the crime, it was registered to him, but driven by someone else. Jorge spent a week in jail before police cleared him. They went after me because of my phone. Jorge Molina, geofencing works, but when used without probable cause, it can turn innocent people into suspects. Third, location, spoofing and prepaid phones. Let's not forget, criminals adapt. Smart offenders now use apps to spoof GPS data. They make it look like they're in Times Square while sitting in a basement. Others use burner phones, cheap prepaid devices bought anonymously. These can be activated, used for a crime, and tossed within hours. These techniques make it harder for law enforcement to rely solely on phone data. It's no longer a magic bullet. 4. Privacy concerns and the Fourth Amendment. Here's the legal elephant in the room. Does tracking your phone data violate your right to privacy? In 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Carpenter v. Rouse, United States, that police must get a warrant to access historical cell site location data. That means they can't just pull your location history without a judge's permission. Sounds good, right? But in emergency situations, or when third-party data is used from apps, loopholes remain. Critics argue that law enforcement can still sidestep your rights by partnering with private companies. For example, police in some states have worked with marketing data brokers to track movement patterns without a warrant. It's legal, but is it ethical? 5. The gray zone of consent. Sometimes police ask you to unlock your phone or share your cloud data voluntarily. Many people panic and say yes. But here's the catch. Once you consent, you waive certain protections. Even if you're innocent, your data, texts, photos, GPS can be used to build a profile. You don't have to be the suspect. You might just be connected to one. And this raises a critical question for all of us. How much are we unknowingly giving up just by saying yes? 6. Deepfakes, tampering, and chain of custody. As deepfake technology and digital tampering grow, there's another concern. Could phone data be altered? Could logs be forged? Technically, yes. And that's why defense attorneys increasingly challenge phone evidence by questioning the chain of custody, who accessed the data, and when. If even one step is undocumented or sloppy, that evidence might be thrown out. Cell phone data is powerful, but it's not perfect. Police need to use it with probable cause, back it up with other evidence, respect constitutional rights, and stay ahead of tech-savvy criminals. Because when misused, this tool can turn truth into tragedy. You don't have to be a suspect to care about phone tracking, because every time you walk outside with your phone in your pocket, your data moves with you. So, what can you do to stay safe, stay private, and stay informed? 1. Understand what tracks you. Let's start simple. Your phone is constantly emitting signals. GPS tracks your physical location. Wi-Fi networks log your connections. Bluetooth beacons track proximity in malls, stadiums, and even some grocery stores. Cell towers log every call, text, and app ping. Apps silently collect background data, location, habits, movement, battery status, and more. So, before anything else, know where your signals are going. 2. Turn off location services when you can. Go to Settings. Turn off location services for apps that don't absolutely need it. That flashlight app doesn't need GPS. Weather app, set a fixed city instead. Turn off real-time tracking unless it's essential. You can always toggle it on when needed. 3. Use a VPN. A virtual private network masks your IP address and encrypts your data. It's one of the simplest ways to make it harder for third parties, and even some forms of law enforcement, to know your exact online behavior. Don't trust free ones. Go for a reputable paid provider. 4. Check app permissions regularly. Most people forget this step, but it's critical. Go into your phone settings. Look at what apps have location, microphone, camera, and contact access. Deny anything that doesn't have a clear reason. Pro tip: delete apps you don't use. Even inactive apps can collect. 5. Use encrypted messaging apps. Apps like Signal or WhatsApp offer end-to-end encryption. That means even if your phone is seized, the messages themselves are often unreadable without your unique key. Note, regular SMS, text messages aren't encrypted. 6. Be smart about consent. If a police officer asks to search your phone, you have rights. Ask, am I being detained? Am I free to go? Don't hand over your phone without clear legal grounds or a warrant. Don't unlock your phone voluntarily if unsure. Silence is not consent. 7. Encrypt your phone. Both Android and iPhones offer built-in encryption features. Make sure you use a passcode, fingerprint, or facial ID. Auto lock is enabled. Find My Device is turned on so you can remotely wipe it if lost or stolen. 8. Avoid public Wi-Fi or use protection. Open Wi-Fi networks are a hacker's paradise. Use a VPN when connected. Never enter sensitive information, banking, passwords, over unsecured networks. 9. Know your rights. Learn the laws in your country or state. In the U.S., police usually need a warrant to access location history. However, emergencies or third-party data collection can create loopholes. Some states have passed digital privacy acts to protect users. Know yours. Knowledge equals power. 10. Stay updated. Technology moves fast, so do surveillance laws. Follow reputable privacy blogs, EFF, Privacy International, The Markup. Use security tools like ProtonMail, DuckDuckGo, or Tor for more control. Join local or online communities that track digital rights. Your phone is more than a device. It's a tracker, a recorder, a map of your life. And while law enforcement can use that data to solve crimes, you have every right to protect it. Because privacy isn't about hiding, it's about choice. Are you ready to take yours back? Look down at your phone. That little screen is a window, a tracker, a witness. Everything from where you go, to who you love, to what you fear. It's all in there. This video wasn't made to scare you. It was made to prepare you. Because while police do use cell phone data to catch criminals, what happens when the system isn't perfect? When the wrong person gets tracked? When the evidence isn't clear, but the location data is? What if your phone places you at a scene you passed by, not one you acted in? So, what have we learned? Cell phone data is powerful, and law enforcement uses it every day. Tech companies log more than you realize, often for profit, sometimes for access. You have rights, but only if you know how to use them. There are ways to protect yourself, from encrypted apps to smart habits. This isn't just about criminals. It's about ordinary people. It's about you. One wrong ping, one wrong app permission, one misunderstood signal, and the truth can get buried under code and coordinates. So, stay aware, stay sharp, and most of all, stay in control of your story. Because if your phone can be used to track you, make sure it also protects you.